Now, next Tuesday marks what would have been actor Matthew Perry's 56th birthday, nearly 2 years after his tragic death following years battling drink and drug addiction. A new documentary follows his story and how his on-screen mum from Friends tried to help him. The actress who played her, Morgan Fairchild, joins us in a minute, live from Los Angeles. Morgan, thank you very much for joining us. We know it's pretty early for you. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm having coffee.
Good, good. I don't know how it feels for you watching clips now. I think that one is one of your particular favourites. Is that right?
Yes, you know, it was so much fun doing Nora. And when I first was on the show, it was not a big hit yet, but I had seen the show several times, and I thought the young actors were really good independently as on their own, but also really great ensemble work, which is kind of a different talent. And so I was excited to do it. And then, you know, I love the way they wrote Nora being. I love being able to totally humiliate my son going on the Tonight Show and talking about teaching him about sex and things. So,
And is it right that you knew Matthew as a little boy?
well, you know, the first day I was on the set, I should go back a little further. You know, when they offered me the part, I had a lot of friends who were saying, "Oh, you should not take that. You're too young to play that guy's mother." And I said, "Well, you know, you have to kind of make that transition in your career." I played the mothers of children and teenagers. Usually, I'm playing vixens with no children, but occasionally playing, you know, the motherly type. But you'd make that transition at some point. So I said, sure, I would love to do it. I'd seen the show. So the first day on the set, Matthew comes bounding over to me like a big puppy dog, like he always did. And he said, "Oh, you won't remember me, but I used to hang out with you on Flamingo Road and Falcon Crest with my dad." And I
Wow.
said, "Who's your dad?" And he said, John Bennett Perry." Well, who had a recurring part on Flamingo Road and Falcon Crest, two of
Oh.
my early series, and I'm thinking, oh, I guess I am old enough to be this kid's mother. But just such a joyful, happy person, and I remember him on the set. Then I remembered him as a little kid, and he was always curious, always, you know, a fun kid, not like a pesky kid on a set, but a fun kid.
Morgan, I wanted to ask you, because just looking at that clip there, he's like heartbreakingly handsome. He was incredibly talented actor generally, but particularly a comic actor, which is very hard to do, as you know. And I wonder, because in his book, when he wrote about, you know, his life, he said that his problems started when he was 14. Were you aware of you know, his issues with addiction when you worked with him on Friends?
Well, certainly not early on. I mean, there was always that exuberant, fun, what you might call Chandler-esque personality. Fun. I just remember as being a big, bouncy, fun guy. I remember him like that first picture you showed of that sort of winsome young man with a big smile and a big personality and always happy. So I was not aware of that early on. Later, as things went downhill, I mean, I remember I read that he'd crashed his car into a home or something, and I thought, "Uh-oh, this is not going in a good direction." But because I wasn't there all the time, I didn't really see it. You know, as it slowly went downhill, I just sort of heard about it and then started seeing it a bit on the set. Not in his work. He was always on time for me, at least he was always on time, always in his lines. He was always great to work with. But he became a bit more reclusive. You didn't see him between scenes as much. He would be in his dressing room, things like that.
And Morgan, sadly, you've had experience with loved ones of yours around addiction. And you did actually reach out to Matthew, didn't you?
Yes, I've had a few people in my life that I cared deeply about that had addiction problems of one kind or another. And so I had been part of a 12-step program for the families of addicts and alcoholics. So I would try to reach out to him. I let him know that I'd been part of that program, that anything I could do to help. Um, you know, it's awkward on a set. You know, you're working with people, you don't want to be intrusive. And people going through those problems, you want to be a support and not irritating them. I mean, irritating them enough to get support, but not. But you don't want to be a downer for them, especially if you're working with them and you're doing a comedy. But I wanted to let him know that I was there for him, anytime, you know, my phone number, anytime you want to call. If you want to go to a meeting and you're afraid to go to a meeting, I'll go with you. It's not my group, but I will go with you and I will be there for you. And he never called, unfortunately, but I tried to let him know that he had support and somebody who cared, aside from his family and obviously the other friends.
And Morgan, why did you want to be a part of this documentary? Was it to honor his legacy and what he left behind?
Yes, very much. You know, the thing is, because of the way he passed, when everybody thought he was doing so well, he'd had the book come out and he had talked about his addiction and he was trying to help other people. Because of the way he passed, I wanted to make sure that people remembered him as I knew him, as this joyous, fun young man. And you could tell as the years went on, and especially that last year or two before he passed, he was really trying to help other people. He had a foundation. He was really reaching out. He wrote that book. He was very honest about his issues. And I think it did help a lot of people. Partially, I know, because half the world thinks of me as his mother. So when he passed, I got tons of condolences, but also tons of people on social media saying he really helped me. He helped me see what my problem was. He helped me have hope. He really, I looked up to him. I felt like he guided me. And you wanted that to be the legacy, the hope and the joy that he gave people. That should be his legacy. I think that's what he would want.
And Morgan, on a personal level, how will you remember him?
I remember him like that first picture that you showed. I remember him bouncing over to me like a big puppy dog that first day on the set. That's how I remember him. This joyous young man, tall, lanky, good-looking, fun, happy, and kind, and just loving life. That's how I remember him. That's how I hope people will remember him. Because I think that the real Matthew also kind of was embodied in Chandler, and half the world felt Chandler was their best friend.
Yeah.
And I think that's how he would like to be remembered, in trying to help people, and that he was truly a friend.
Yeah. Morgan, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been really lovely speaking to you, and you're right. I mean, the impact of Friends, you know, goes on through the generations. I mean, you know, our daughters who were tiny when it came out have revisited it, and it means a lot to so many people. Thank you so much for joining us. Morgan Fairchild.